Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is rolling into theaters, and it's looking like a very good time for the blue blur. We've got the review to tell you whether or not this is the greatest video game movie of all time. One thing we can say for sure, folks, this is a Jim Carrey performance that would make Ace Ventura and the Grinch cry in awe. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we as ever endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve. We have a wonderful time doing so, and it's time for a review for you so that you can decide whether or not Sonic 3 is worth your time. We'll let you know whether you have a family or you're going solo or with a friend, whether Sonic is the one to win the box office weekend for you. Folks, we only ask that as we get started, you give us those rings, hand us a Chaos Emerald by clicking the like button. I will tell you that this is yet another one of those reviews where it depends on who you are, how you're going to feel about this movie. It is undoubtedly no Citizen Kane. It is not The Godfather. It's not even the original Toy Story. And yet, I must confess that every single kid in my theater, and there were plenty of them, they were bouncing off the walls at the end of the movie. They were as excited as I think I have ever seen children be by the end of a film. And there's no question as to why. This movie is chock full of stuff that kids will adore. The message, however, is a bit juvenile if you are an adult. If you're going as a grown-up, then I have a bit of caution for you. I don't think you'll be growing up in your character after you watch this film. I don't think you'll come away saying, this changed me, this touched me deeply in a place I had not ever explored. And yet I implore parents out there to take your kids because I think you're going to have a wonderful time. Is it a perfect movie? No, of course not. And your mileage will, vary depending on your age, your maturity, and what it is you're interested in. But everyone who goes and sees Sonic 3, I believe, will walk away with a good time. A junior version of the Avengers with almost neon-colored fur, that is what you are in for with this film. But it should be no surprise because the prior Sonic movies already set that standard. You know what you're getting into when you go to see this film. And I would say that it actually exceeds those films. In fact, I would say that this is one of those rare trilogies, and yes, I know they've already announced the fourth because of how well this is doing on day one. Really, it's not even day one, it's a preview, but you get the idea. But this is the kind of film, this is the kind of trilogy that means that each film has gotten better. I know not everybody agrees with me on this, but I believe that the first one was quite good, but it was lifted up largely because people were so supportive after they fixed the Sonic design based on the fans' desires to do so. Then the second film was legitimately good. It was a great sequel. And this film, I think, goes to a new level indeed. Now, there are missed opportunities. For example, the song Live and Learn from Sonic Adventure is played in this movie, and it is remixed just a bit. I don't know if they redid the song with the original band. I believe they did. I wish we'd had more of that. Seriously, give me 3 minutes. The crowd was pumped up and ready to go, and it cuts off too quick. I also thought that in a particular place in the film that we should have heard the song from Sonic R, way back on the Sega Saturn, Supersonic Racing. Seriously, give it to us. Like, pump this thing up with nostalgia. Meanwhile, there are hits that they hit very hard, and they're highly successful. Things like the performance of Keanu Reeves as Shadow. Marvelous. Idris Elba as Knuckles continues to knock it out of the park. He is the Drax of this movie, of this franchise. He's Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy reincarnated as a red echidna, and he's perfect as it. I wish that Tails had had more opportunity in the film, although I will say that Tails does a very good job of creating a loving dynamic possibility and a character arc between Dr. Robotnik, by Jim Carrey again, and his sidekick. I forget his name, but he's the the Austrian goat milk latte side character, and he gets plenty of screen time, and he's fabulous again. But really, Jim Carrey steals every single scene that he's in. This is Jim Carrey like you have waited to see. If you're an Ace Ventura fan, if you're a Mask fan, Jim Carrey totally reprises it. He's back in the same form he was in movies like The Grinch, and he transforms himself in this as two characters. It is as if he is suddenly inhabited by the spirit of Mike Myers, while at the same time remanifesting the Ace Ventura character. It's a marvelous performance by Jim Carrey, and it's a reminder that Paramount should do anything they can to bring him back for the fourth, although I would say that it's not necessary, but by golly, they need him back because he is wonderful in this role, and you can tell that Jim Carrey is having a wonderful time in the role. He's having a genuinely fun time. So why end the fun time? Let's keep it going. Speaking of the characters, Sonic is Sonic. There are great jokes in here, and there are, well, decent jokes, but some really funny ones that the kids enjoyed greatly. And we get some surprise appearances, especially, folks, I would recommend that you not leave at any point during the credits. We get Donut Lord and his wife, who is the hot mama for Sonic, and the dog. The dog. I didn't even know that the dog had a name until this movie. The dog out of the family gets a scene-stealing moment with a translated subtitle for dog. And it's out of the clear blue sky. Wonderful. I loved it. Now, there are places where it could do better. As we said, there was an opportunity here to kick it up to a level 11 or 12 in the nostalgia. There's also a place where, although we're learning that Sonic needs to learn that team is what matters, being part of the team, sticking with your bros, that's what matters. Tails has a moment where I wish that he had hugged Sonic, because I could just sense in the movie that one of the things that could have been said here is that when someone is angry or hurting, sometimes they need a hug. And that would be the level of lesson that this movie is trying to do. So that would have been good, because then Sonic could have hugged Shadow later in the movie. And you could have, you know what? Just break out the Danny Tanner. Just let's get a hug fest going on for everybody. Get the feel goods going on. There's plenty to feel good about this movie. The question is Sonic 3 the best video game movie of all time? Because I believe it's the best out of this trilogy. And as long as these things are getting better, why stop? But is it a show-stopping number one in the genre of video game movies? Does it best the Mario Brothers movie that we raved about last year? And folks, here is where we get into some controversy, because I have no belief whatsoever that Sonic 3, while it will probably best Mufasa at the domestic box office, I don't believe that it will beat the Mario Brothers movie in terms of revenue. There was simply too much fan interest in seeing Mario from all the Nintendo players throughout time. I don't think it'll beat it at the box office. But I do believe that Sonic 3 is the best video game movie of all time. I believe that it slightly edges out the Mario Brothers movie. That is contested, by the way. Not everyone agrees with me, even on our own team. Jonas, I was surprised, gave Sonic 3 a 7 out of 10. But I am a little bit higher. Now, that is not to say that we've had the kind of video game movie that would make it be crystal clear that it is, at the apex of art. That hasn't ever happened before. And so that means that we're judging this versus, essentially, Mario or the other Sonic movies. Yeah, you could throw in Detective Pikachu as well, but it has its issues. Sonic 3, I think, edges out the Mario movie. I think it is the best video game movie of all time. Folks, I'm here to tell you, for kids, they are going to love this movie. Why do I say that? Because I watched it happen. I watched kids yell and applaud as if they were adult Star Wars fans finally getting something good again. And we know that's not going to happen. I don't know, maybe Jon Favreau. But anyway, we're not going to digress there. Kids were going crazy for this thing. They were so excited. And it made me feel like I was watching the junior version of Captain America saying, "Avengers Assemble." That is what was going on here. Kids were loving it. Your kids will too. If you have kids, this is a must-watch movie in the theaters. If you don't have kids, but you're a SEGA nostalgia fan, go check it out. And if you don't have kids and you're just looking for a movie, this probably is, after Wicked, the best one of the holiday season, and the only other one outside of Wicked that I can recommend. And the stars of Wicked make it awfully hard for me to recommend going to see it, even though it's a great movie, because they're just so weird. But Sonic, on the other hand, fantastic job. By the way, before we go, kudos to Paramount to have the actors come out before the movie, and thank you for seeing it in the theater. And kudos to Sonic for a hilarious joke about Tom Cruise that's in this movie. Wonderfully done. But again, Jim Carrey, wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a job, what enthusiasm, what energy. Fabulous. The score for Sonic 3 from the WDW Pro Channel, officially from me, 8.5 out of 10. It is a very excellent film. I recommend this film for anyone out there, but especially if you're taking kids. It's a great time. They will run in loop-de-loops as they leave the theater, thanking you the entire way. Folks, we ask that you click the like button. Let us know what you think. Have you seen Sonic? Did you enjoy it? Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And get out there and drink your Austrian goat milk lattes in honor of the good doc. Folks, until the next time we have the honor of spending time with you, we send you out this way, not with chaos control, but rather with the phrase you've heard so many times: keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Listen up, my brothers and sisters. You've been listening to Phils and those with an agenda to destroy your brain cells for far too long. It's time to change your way of doing things. Hold up. TPP is the place to be. Covering the news so honestly. It's a team that's cool and tried and true. Ahead of the culture curve, they're trying to keep you. Jonas and Pro, they run the show, and they dragged in the bearded culture casino. You got Valiant and Lord and Fourth of Light. Wonderful people, yeah, they're alright. They got weird bringing in people like Floral, but made no mistake with Lorena Creole. Amelia and John, stuttering guitarist. Martin and Tawny and someone called CMS. Fat Steven makes a bunch of other graphics. Did I mention a partnership with Bending in the comics? Fat Sky is a guy and Doc Matt does the web stuff. There's probably some people I missed. I hope they're not telling you the news. That should be fun. With accurate info that's not been spun, you can figure it out as you will see. The TPP is the place to be.
Yeah, Wilton. That was actually pretty good, or white. But I think you might have forgotten Vash.
Well, he lost all his friends. But it was implied.